What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies, and welcome to my review of Death of a Unicorn. This is the latest movie from A24, the studio behind so many independent films, including the wonderfully weird Everything Everywhere All at Once. Death of a Unicorn is written and directed by Alex Schwartzman, making his feature film directorial debut. His previous work has been as a producer of various film and TV projects. Paul Rudd stars as Elliot, a lawyer who takes his daughter Ridley, played by Jenna Ortega, on a weekend business trip to the home of his clients, an ultra-wealthy pharmaceutical family. On the way there, they accidentally hit and kill a unicorn with their car and end up taking it with them. It's not long before the family realizes the unicorn has special healing powers and decide to exploit it to make themselves even richer. But that plan turns deadly when the mythical creatures start hunting them. Before I jump into the review, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. That way you don't miss any of the videos I post here on the channel.
Sorry, we're late.
What happened? You walked from the airport or what?
It's perfect timing.
I need you to act like everything is fine.
Is there something in your car?
Death of a Unicorn is the latest horror comedy to come out this year, and like so many of those other movies, it has some heartfelt emotional moments, it has some horror elements, it also has some funny moments, and it has some truly gory moments. It also has messages and social commentary that it's trying to make through satire, but unfortunately, the results are pretty uneven. The biggest problem with this movie is that it never really finds the right balance between horror and comedy, and making those two things work together rather than against each other. So it was a frustrating movie to watch because all the pieces are there, but the movie basically squanders this premise and its cast, which is really unfortunate because it has an amazing cast. Jenna Ortega is one of the standouts here. She's great as Ridley, a young woman who is still grieving the loss of her mother, but also has this really strained relationship with her father. And she's also a character that's more developed than any of the other characters in the movie. Jenna Ortega knows exactly how to play this character to deliver just enough of the sort of angry young college student who's, bickering with her father, and also play someone who is trying to make the right decisions at a time when everyone else is making bad ones. Will Poulter is another standout here. He plays Shepherd Leopold, who is the spoiled rich kid to the mega billionaire CEO that Paul Rudd's character works for. And Will Poulter is great in this role. His character is really over the top and basically a narcissist, but he knows exactly how to play this character. In fact, I would say that Jenna Ortega and Will Poulter basically know what this movie was going for, and they honestly balance each other out. But Will Poulter seems to be having a lot of fun with this character. He's playing it at a different level, and he really is committed. And I think, again, he understood what tone to go with this character and how to play this character in a way that I think some of the other actors didn't. Another standout for me in this movie was Anthony Carrigan, who plays the butler Griff. And he's, a secondary character, just sort of lingers in the background and shows up occasionally to deliver some snarky lines, and the snarky lines that they give him work. Now, I'm not blaming the actors for the shortcomings of this movie. In fact, the cast are great. It's just their characters, for the most part, are really one note. For example, you have Paul Rudd, who is always usually pretty charismatic and very likable. His character here is really unlikable, even though I think he's meant to be likable. He's just this kind of guy that constantly fails his daughter, makes really bad decisions, and the way this character is developed, or underdeveloped, I should say, really hurts the story arc between Elliot and Ridley. There's this father-daughter arc in the middle of this horror comedy, and it just really falls flat because of how underdeveloped this character is. You also have Richard E. Grant, another great actor who's not able to do much with the character that he's given in this movie. He plays Odell Leopold, the patriarch of this ultra-wealthy family who is battling an illness. So he has motives, he has his reasons for wanting to harvest this unicorn's special powers. And he's chewing the scenery in this movie. But unfortunately, he's given some of the worst dialogue, and he's not able to elevate it into anything. Téa Leoni plays his wife Belinda, and these two characters specifically are basically just like caricatures. And I think Téa Leoni fares the worst of this because her character is really not given much to do. She just shows up occasionally and kind of plays sort of like the passive wife who delivers a couple of like snarky lines here and there, but ultimately isn't given much to do. Now, you also have some pretty bad CGI in this movie. Now, I wasn't expecting the unicorns to look realistic or anything because obviously unicorns are not real, but I was hoping that the quality of the CGI would be good. There was a moment in this movie where there was a close-up of the unicorn that actually looked pretty good, but I'm not sure what effect they used to achieve that. I'm not sure if it was CGI or if it was a more practical effect like some puppetry. They should have either done more of that, or because this movie is very much like a monster movie, they should have done what a lot of other monster movies do, and that they shouldn't have really shown a lot of the monster. Give us glimpses here and there to add some mystery to it, but don't reveal the whole monster, because often that kind of diminishes the scariness of the monster. This movie is also tonally uneven. Again, I think that has to do with it not really finding the balance between the horror and the comedy. It's also painfully unfunny. There were so many moments in this movie where they were going for a laugh, and it just falls flat. Again, with the exception of maybe a couple of lines that Will Poulter's character delivers, or even Griff the butler delivers, this movie isn't funny. And it really should have been, because you have some actors in this movie that can pull off comedy, that have some really great comedic timing. There's just a lack of humor here. There's also a moment in this movie where there's some exposition that is delivered. And it's probably the most clunky delivery of exposition that I've seen in a movie recently. There had to be another way to deliver this information that was necessary for, the plot of the movie. So it's interesting you have a studio like A24 has released all these different independent movies, and some of those movies have landed on the side of weird and strange. And in many ways, Death of a Unicorn feels like it wanted to be that, weird sort of out there movie, but was afraid to commit. This movie feels like it's going for more of a mainstream feel, but it wanted to have some horror elements, it wanted to have some of those weird elements. But I think if it had committed more to that premise and been a little bit more out there, then it probably would have been a better movie and it would have worked a lot better. But yeah, it was a bit disappointing because this movie had so much potential, but the execution just wasn't there. So those are my thoughts on Death of a Unicorn. Do you plan on seeing the movie? Let me know in the comments. While you're here, like and subscribe and stick around for more videos like this.